For this project, I did the Howard Peters Rawlings Conservatory and Botanic Gardens of Baltimore. This field trip is located at Druid Hill Park at 3100 Swan Drive in Baltimore, Maryland. It just happens to be 13 minutes away from Loyola University of Maryland. The hours of operation are from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day except Monday and Tuesday. At the conservatory, there is no fee, but there is a suggested donation of $5 for each person. There are no lunch or snack options, so students will be encouraged to bring their own lunches. The chaperones attending the trip will be asked to bring their cell phones on the field trip in case of emergencies. There is free parking outside of the conservatory for buses. There is no gift shop. This field trip is designed to help children understand that plants are a part of habitats. By going to visit the conservatory, students are getting first-hand experience of investigating plant life and seeing different types of habitats. After visiting the conservatory, they will hopefully understand how different plants need different climates, weather conditions, food, and physical characteristics in order to survive in nature. This is a lesson that is planned for the day before the field trip. The standard that will be used in this lesson will be used all week throughout the field trip and after the field trip. The standard is 3LS4-3. It is to construct an argument with evidence that in a particular habitat, some organisms can survive well, some survive less well, and some cannot survive at all. The current lesson objective is that the students will be able to understand why some plants can survive in extreme temperatures and why some plants cannot survive in a class exercise led by the teacher. For the engagement part of the lesson, the teacher will get the attention of students by asking the class if they know any general facts about habitats. Then the students will be shown a video about habitats, and this video is about 5 minutes long. For exploration, the students will again be asked to turn to their desk buddies and talk about what they had learned from the video. They will be asked to come up with 3 things that they learned from the video. The teacher will be writing some of the facts that the children share on the board. After this discussion, the teacher will hand out a blank chart and ask children to fill in each category based off of the facts written on the board. After filling in the sheets of paper, students will get in their science groups and pick a certain habitat to draw. The group will draw the specific plants and animals that live in the habitat on a poster board and prepare to share with the class. During the elaboration aspect of the course, each group will present their completed poster boards to the rest of the class. For the evaluation, the students will be given an exit ticket. The ticket will ask which habitat the student found most interesting, what plant interested them the most, and why. This is the lesson for the field trip. Today's learning objective is that the students will be able to compare the plants using similarities and differences between the plants. This activity is performed in the classroom before leaving for the field trip. The students will start the science lesson by getting their exit tickets back from yesterday. Based on the habitat that interested them or the plant that they focused on, the teacher will write a specific plant on the sheet. The student will be instructed to research the plant for their Do Now exercise. The children will be encouraged to draw a picture of the plant and write down facts that they deem important. As soon as students get off the bus and are at the conservatory, the groups will get instructions for the activity, the scavenger hunt. The goal of this field trip is to find the plant that they were assigned earlier in the day in the conservatory. In order to do so, they will have to read the signs about the plants, investigate the physical characteristics of each plant, and pay attention to details that they wrote in their science journals. The students will be handed a map of the conservatory with labeled rooms of each habitat. Before they are allowed to enter the building, the groups must mark where they think each of their plants may live in the conservatory. Students will be in their science groups with a chaperone and on a scavenger hunt to look for their assigned plant. Because they completed the research about the plant earlier in the day and have written notes about the plant, they should look for plants that would be similar to one that they researched. After all students have finished their scavenger hunt, they will break for lunch. There is a garden outside with picnic tables that the children will sit at. If it's raining, there's a room with tables and chairs in the back of the conservatory where the children can eat as well. After lunch, the children will be asked to get back into their science groups. In these groups, they will recreate the physical representation of each plant using their bodies, arms, legs, etc. For example, if a child had a type of cactus as their plant, the 5 children would have to work together to recreate the shape of that type of cactus. After this activity, children will get ready to go back to school. Once the students are in their classroom, they will be handed a piece of blank paper. They will be asked to independently work on an accurate drawing of their plant that they researched. They should include colors and label the parts of the plant. The information should be found in their science journals if they took good notes. After they are done drawing and labeling their plant, they should write why the plant belongs in the specific habitat. This is the lesson for the day after the field trip. Today's objective is that the students will be able to identify which plants live in each habitat based on their physical characteristics. At the beginning of class, everyone will receive their plant pictures back and be asked to hang them on the board in the front of the room. The only difference between the picture they handed in and the picture they are getting handed back is now the picture includes a big, bold number on the top left corner of the page. The teacher will continue the lesson by asking students the names of different habitats. After writing the habitats on the board, the teacher will hand out a worksheet labeled numbers 1 through 25. The students will be asked to go to the front of the classroom to look at each drawing and guess which habitat the plant belongs to. Each child should silently fill out the worksheet and should not work together. If the child thinks the drawing labeled number 1 on the board belongs in the desert, they should fill out the word desert on the line labeled number 1. The students will work as a class to determine which plants should be categorized together. They should use the physical characteristics of each plant to help group them. After the students group the plants together, they should move their specific plant into a group of similar plants on the board. This visual representation will help children understand how physical characteristics affect the type of plant that grows in a habitat. Students will be handed a worksheet after observing the similarities and differences between the plants on the board. The worksheet is labeled the different habitats, and the students have to fill in specific characteristics of the plants found in the corresponding habitat. The student will be tested on the information that they have learned over the course of the 3 lessons. The student will be given a list of characteristics on the board, and they will be asked to use the specific characteristics given to draw or name the type of plant being described. The information provided will include habitat, size, color, texture, leaves or no leaves, fruit bearing or no fruit. In completing this exercise, it will show the students' understandings of concepts learned over the course of the week.